So we're going to start with one that is very simple. I'm going to make it up as I go along here. But I'm going to give it to you in words. So I'm going to say like calcium sulfate and aluminum fluoride. So these are my reactants. And I'm going to ask you to put together this story, right, that we've been talking about, the chemical story, which is actually the equation all written out. So the first thing we have to do is we have to take this calcium sulfate and we have to change it into a formula. So I taught you that a while back. We're going to take calcium. We're going to take sulfate. If you don't know where the sulfate is, you would go ahead and you would go and you would look at your table E. You'd find sulfate right here, and you'd copy it right onto your paper. So you'd have CaSO4, and SO4 has a -2 charge. Right there, -2. You would also look up calcium's charge. Calcium would have a +2 charge. Then what do I do with those two numbers to get my subscripts? Cross them down. Not like I've never said that before. So we do a 2, we do a 2, and then these guys reduce to 1 and 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase all these numbers, and I'm just going to neaten it up. Because if this is 1 to 1, I don't have to have all these numbers written. I know they're 1s and 1s. So right now I have 1 calcium and 1 sulfate. Now I'm going to write the second one, which is aluminum and fluoride. Fluoride is not a polyatomic ion, so we don't need table E. We just take and put the fluorine there. The aluminum has a +3 charge. The fluorine has a -1 charge. I'm getting those right from my periodic table. Aluminum is over here, +3, fluorine, -1. Cross them down. You're going to end up with AlF3. Now, if I was doing this, if I was you and I was doing this, I'd be using a pencil so I could erase these numbers because I don't need them anymore. Okay, so we've now started our journey into writing our story, right? We got calcium sulfate and aluminum phosphate. The skills we used: crisscross method, turning names into formulas. Now we're going to use another skill that we worked on. We're putting all these things together now. This is the fun part. Okay, I taught you one thing, we moved on. I taught you another thing, we moved on. Now I'm taking all that stuff that we learned, sticking it all together. Is it starting to make sense now, what I was doing? Okay, what kind of reaction is this going to be? There were 5 choices: synthesis, decomposition, single replacement, double replacement, or combustion. It is double replacement because, you are smart, because compound plus compound, right? So they're going to switch dance partners. So I'm going to actually use an orange, and we'll take calcium is going to hook up with fluorine, and aluminum is going to hook up with sulfate. This 3 and all of these 1s that are here do not come with me to the other side. So I'm going to take my calcium, hook it up with my fluorine, put my numbers back in. Where'd I get those from? Right here. Calcium is a +2, fluorine was a -1. Cross them down. 2, 1. Take out my pencil, erase. Okay. Plus, the aluminum and the sulfate are going to go together. Aluminum goes first because it's the metal. Sulfate goes last because it's acting like the nonmetal. I don't take the 1 with me and the 1 with me, but I do take this 4. The 4 is part of the polyatomic ion, so it travels with the SO4. kind of like in its own little cocoon. Okay, I'm going to put my numbers in. Aluminum's a +3, sulfate is a -2. I'm going to cross them down. I'm going to get a 2, and I'm going to get a 3. Break out my eraser. Just get rid of those so they're out of my way. Because I don't need them. All I needed them for was to show you when they cross down. Okay, so we learned that. Double replacement reaction. Then I said to you, okay, law of conservation. Law of conservation says the amount of stuff that I have on the left has to be the amount that I have on the right. I'm just getting rid of this to neaten it up. Okay. Is this story that I just wrote obeying the law of conservation? I have one calcium. Let's make a list. It's easier to see. Calcium, sulfate, aluminum, fluorine. 1 calcium, 1 sulfate, 1 aluminum, 3 fluorines. Right? There's a 1, a 1, a 1, and a 3. This side, calcium, sulfate, aluminum, fluorine. 1, 3, 2, 2. Calcium, there's 1 of them. Fluorine, there was 2. Aluminum, there was 2. And sulfate, there was 3. Are you starting to go, yet? Are you doing that in your head? Like I kind of get it? Or are you still like lost? All right. This is not obeying the law because 1 sulfate over here and 3 sulfates over here. So what I need to do is I need to put in these coefficients. So let's go ahead and do that. This is how we kind of ended the unit, right? Calciums are good, sulfates not so much. So which side am I going to start on? The reactant side or the product side? Reactant side. Find the sulfate on the reactant side. This is where I start. Once I determine that, please cross these numbers off because they mean nothing. Okay? We have to get new numbers here. When I put a number here, all these numbers are going to change. What number do you want to put there that when distributed out to this CaSO4 is going to give me 3 SO4s? 3. So now I recount. 3 calciums, 3 SO4s. These guys didn't change, 1 and 3. Now my calciums don't match. My sulfates do. My aluminums don't. Oh, it's a giant mess. Okay, which one do you want to work on next? It doesn't matter. Pick one. Al, she says. Okay, so we're going to take this Al, which is a 1, and we're going to find it up here. Now these numbers are gone again because I'm manipulating the reactant side. I'm just erasing this to keep it neater. These numbers mean nothing to me. What number do you want to put here that when multiplied through to this AlF3, it's going to give me 2 aluminums? 2. 2. Now recount. 3 calciums didn't change. 3 sulfates didn't change. But now I have 2 aluminums and I have 6 fluorines. Getting closer. Okay. Calciums don't match. Now I got 2 out of 4 that match. Calciums don't match and fluorines don't match. Pick one. Calcium. Okay. Calcium on this side because 1 is smaller than 3. What number am I going to put there that when distributed to the CaF2 is going to give me 3 calciums? 3. So recount. 3 calciums, 6 fluorines. These guys didn't change. 2 aluminums, 3 sulfates. Okay, because this is a 1 right here. Oh, look. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 6, 6. Give yourself a smiley face. Okay, pat yourself on the back and say, I did a good job. Because I did. All right. Lots of little skills that we've now started to put them together to do these chemical stories. It was a great story, right? Want to try one more? What a great idea. And then I'll set you free to do some on your own. The only thing we didn't do here is we did not talk about moles to grams and grams to moles, which I really have to. I just want to set the background for this. Hold on. Bless you. Make a bunch of copies so that I don't have to keep doing it. Let's do magnesium. Oops, I'm writing the symbols. Magnesium and lithium. So hard not to. Lithium chloride. Okay. Magnesium. Mg. It's not with a partner. So how do I determine if it gets a subscript? You look at the list of diatomics. Is magnesium diatomic? No, so it doesn't get anything. These guys are together. You've got lithium and you've got chlorine, lithium chloride. How do I determine their subscripts? I got to take a trip over to my periodic table and I got to find their charges. Lithium's +1, chlorine's -1. If you don't believe me, look them up. +1, -1. Okay, cross them down, 1 and 1. I'm going to erase these with my handy dandy eraser just to keep it nice and neat. What kind of reaction is this going to be? Single replacement. So magnesium, which is a metal, is going to kick whom out of their place? The lithium. So magnesium is going to go where the lithium was, and the chlorine gets booted. You can't assume that these are all ones. You got to look. You're right. I did write it wrong. I was just testing you. Okay, lithium gets booted. Did I say lithium gets booted? And then I wrote chlorine? Okay. Don't assume that these are ones. Look up the charges. What's magnesium's charge? +2. What's chlorine's charge? -1. Cross them down. MgCl2. It should start to sink in now, what I'm doing. Lithium, does it get a subscript? No, because it's not diatomic. Okay. Is this sucker obeying the law of conservation? No, so let's do that. Let's do magnesium, lithium, and chlorine. 1, 1, 1. 1, 1, 1. Magnesium, lithium, chlorine. 1, 1, 2. 1 magnesium, 1 lithium, 2 chlorines. Magnesium's match, lithium's match, chlorines don't match. So we're going to work right here in front of this chlorine. You can't stick it in here. It's got to be in front of the whole thing. Okay, that's another thing that I didn't mention, but I want to make sure everybody knows. You're only working in front. There's 4 places in this story that we can stick numbers, and that's the only 4 places are there. Now that I've determined I'm working over here, these numbers are gone. What number do I put there that's going to give me 2 chlorines? 2. Okay, I heard a 2 come out of your mouth. Okay, that's going to change the lithiums to 2 and the chlorines to 2. Magnesium's still a 1. Oh, that messed everything up. Okay, now the lithiums don't match. So I'm going to work over here because 1 is lower than 2. So we'll cross those off. What number am I putting there that's going to give me 2 lithiums? 2. Okay. Magnesiums didn't change. Lithiums became a 2. Chlorines didn't change. Ta-da! Smiley face, pat on the back. I'll give this guy ears. Actually, I'm going to give him hair. He's cute, right? Okay. What numbers go here? Ones. So you do not need to write the ones, but you need to know that they're there, because if they ask you, What is the sum of the coefficients? You need to add those ones. So in this case, the sum of the coefficients are the ones in the yellow boxes, is 6. Okay, not 4. And I hesitate to even say this, but don't put zeros here. They're not zeros, they're ones. Okay? How do you feel? I know, tired.
Tired, yeah. I said good.
What about you guys at home? You okay? Give me some thumbs. Okay. Gianni, did you say something? Because I didn't hear you.
No, I said I'm good.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Now, this is what we're going to do. Because, oh, I'm still taping. Hold on, let me shut this off.